Oh, you want me to turn off the video?
Here we go. You can leave it on. You can leave it off so people can see your face. Doesn't matter. We're here once
Okay.
again. The third episode of Shoot the Shit with Joey Zaza. Who the fucking thunk it, huh? Enough of the engine. We got some other guests coming up in a few. We're waiting on Neil. We're waiting on Manny. Right now, we got my boy John here. And most importantly, we have Eddie Velez. You guys have seen him in I don't know how many movies. Eddie, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. Yeah.
What have you been up to? We haven't seen your face in a while.
Yeah, well, last year I had luckily I had gotten a couple of shows in right before they shut down the industry, right before March, and then I had actually booked something that was going to start in the middle of March and right before they shut down everything. So I just took the year off, and and I had shot some footage a couple of years ago of a script that I had written. So
what about?
I took advantage of the years and I edited it. I'm editing it now. It's about 75% done. So that's what I spent my time.
Can you tell us about the script, or you can't tell us yet?
Well, it's a spy thriller of all things. It's a spy thriller that I had just came up with out of thin air. I had been I had gotten hurt on a show, and so I was laid out with a neck brace, and I was staying with a cousin out in near Apple Valley, California. It's just all desert out there. And I'm looking out the window, and I'm thinking that I want to do something. Since I couldn't act because of the neck injury, but I could write, and I wanted to direct something. So I said, well, if I'm going to direct something, I need to write it. So I'm looking out the window, and I see this desert out there, and immediately I think I didn't see desert. I just saw like a set. I saw a set that I could shoot something, and the desert was free. So I set about to write a story around the desert, and basically it turned into a story about a super spy in Iraq. And
let me ask you something real quick. You got that inspiration for that story, looking at the desert. Is there like I know painters. Let's go with graffiti artists, because that's something that I'm a bit more familiar with. Graffiti artists, they're like, okay, I'm gonna do this wall, and it's so big, I gotta listen to this album. You know what I mean? There are artists that have to be in a certain scenery in order to be able to paint something that's completely different from the scenery. Is there like anything specific that you look for, an angle or a filter? Is there something that actually clicks that makes that thought come through?
Well, I have been listening to a lot of music, and I have been using music to edit, and I do a lot of the footage. Music helps because when I said about to write the script, like I said, it was to have something to direct. So I started writing scenes that would be fun to direct, like fight scenes and car chases, and action, which I had done. I mean, I've acted a lot in action, but I hadn't written one yet, so I wanted to write one. So that was fun. That was the challenge. So came up with the action, and then I met Jerry Lynch, who's the star of the picture.
Okay.
Through my cousin, who took me. My cousin took me to who's into Jeet Kune Do, and he took me to his class. And I met him there. And he was such a cool guy and such a relaxed guy, and he didn't seem like a guy who could destroy you in a second if he had to. because he was so good at this Jeet Kune Do and everything else. And he was just a regular guy, and I saw a character when I seen him, and so I thought, well, since he knows how to fight, he can do all the action stuff, and then we can figure out all the acting scenes. And he did have an interest in acting, so it was wonderful to craft the character with the person who was also a martial artist to begin with, as opposed to taking someone
And I
and
imagine it's better
trying
for
to look like a martial
authenticity,
artist.
right? Instead of getting an actor who can look like he can fight, actually get an actor who fight, or a fighter that can act.
Yeah, well, yeah, that can work both ways though, because like for instance, I think I had mentioned when in Split Decisions, that movie with
Right.
Gene Hackman, where I was
Gene
a fighter.
Hackman.
Well, yeah, well, I think I told you about how I got that part. It was between me and a former middleweight champ,
Wow.
so who was also doing. He had been doing some acting also, and he was a pretty good actor actually. And so it came down to an actor because I had trained to be a boxer when I was younger. So it came down to an actor who could box, and between that and a boxer who could act. And I don't know what tipped the scale, but they went with me, and I'm glad it worked out that way.
Let's
Because
let me say hi
I had
to Manny really quick. Manny, it's great to have you on the panel. Every people out there might know him as Babalu Machete. I know him as Big Brother. He
Bro,
does videos. He's trying to get into the whole industry. Big bro, how are you doing? It's great to have you here, man.
thank you,
all
man.
right.
Thank you. It's a pleasure sharing the phone with y'all brothers also, man. It's good.
Yeah, of
Feels good.
course,
You
of
already know,
course.
man.
We were just talking about the inspiration on different shots and different things within a film. And
Yeah.
Eddie was just telling us that he was looking outside towards the desert and got an inspiration for a script. And then within the interaction with one of his friends, he gets the inspiration for one of the characters. Is that correct, Eddie?
All right,
So
you got it right on.
my question to you, Manny, when you record your videos, is it the song that gives you the inspiration for the video? Like, do you make the video go to the song, or do you try to like fit it into its own creature, its own view?
You talk about the music videos?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. When there's a music video involved, man, you gotta listen to what's the song about, and I think you should come with an intro, with some type of cinematic intro to make the video interesting, not just jumping into a video just because a music video and that's that. So my whole shit is like try to come up with some cinematic shit in the beginning to make it make sense, and why is it going to that song or why is it going to that track, to show the visuals of it, because everything is visual, man. Is we living in a visual world. It always been like that, but visuals is everything. You can have the hottest track and do the hottest whatever, but if you don't give them that visual, and I'm not talking about just having a great camera. I'm talking about the angles have to be crazy. Like you got to know what you're doing. It's like a lot of people have a lot of equipment and they don't know how to use it at the right place and use the right lens at the right place and
Well, you know what?
certain
Now
things to
that
the
now
moment.
that
Then
Neil just joined in, my man Neil, I got a question for all three of you. You can answer it however you want. I'll even fuck off the screen, yo, so you guys can debate about that. And it is, how exactly do you pick the angles?
That's
You know
all
what I'm saying? Is it
story,
just like
buddy.
your personal view? Do you
I,
like
I, I think
write the
so.
storyboard right
That's
off?
story of personal view. It's your choice
Yeah,
all the way through.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's how you visualize a lot of things and a lot of perspectives. Something could be going on, and you have to put that angle at a certain way, just because of the narrative and the shit of whatever's going on.
I
Once you
mean,
put an angle of somebody's face and you crossing that, you could put from the bottom to the top or something, you get that overly look, man. And I don't know, these are angles of fucking being above anybody or something like that, of bossly or whatever, man. And yeah, man, it's just having these certain angles and certain And the music, bro, the music theme is always everything I say, bro. When it comes to movies and shit like that, like the music is something, man. The soundtrack has to be crazy, bro.
It
But if
sets
you
the
just
tone.
come,
I kind of realized that. When was it? Yesterday, day before yesterday, something like that. I don't remember the exact movie, but I was watching. But I remember it's like, wait a minute. Every time something like suspicious is happening, they bring in flutes. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
there's a crazy thing about that too, because most of the time you've got like it also depends on the creative rhythm of whoever's
un
directing it, what
podcast
their
que me
vision
invitaron,
is.
¿verdad?
But you gotta look
Un
at, because
podcast que me invitaron
there's
a salir
movies that'll
de la
bring the
película.
music in on a certain spot and they use it to preemptively foreshadow something. But then there's movies that actually don't. They'll actually let the music run with the scene and let the scene develop visually. Like Manuel was saying, it's a visual medium. So you're looking at this visually first all the time. The music, the sound, everything else is quite as important, but it's in that background. So it's being used to service everything that you're telling into the screen.
is there like a specific formula? Like, if you want before you go to war, you can't play a ukulele. You have to have percussion.
I don't think there's a formula. I think more than anything, it's you've got to have a story. There's nothing comes first. It's always the story. Everything else we were talking about, composition, music, all that stuff is in the service of that story. It gets developed after that. That's always how it comes up. And every single thing, everybody asks the same thing. It's always a story. You can learn, like, I know lighting, lenses, and production and stuff like that. But all that stuff that I know, when I start writing, I dump that out the window, because I might have little ideas here and there. It's like, oh, it'd be great if I do this scene like this. But when I'm writing it on the page, I don't want to see it that way. I want the characters to come out on the page, everything to come out first. And then I'll put a visual to it right behind, after I've got the right scene and the right way that I want the characters to develop.
So when you guys write, you don't have in your mind, like, I would like this to come into this angle.
I'm sure we do. I'm sure we all do in certain respects. I mean, I'm just talking personally. My creative outlet is, when I go on a page, I want the words to read correctly. I want when I do blocking and stuff like that on the page, then I'll have something in my head. But for the majority of the time, I'm writing, and I'm writing to tell the story so that I can read it back and then see it. It's the only example that I can give is when I go see a movie, I want the movie to take me completely. I don't want to analyze that. I don't want to look at it in any way. I want the movie to take me where it wants to take me. And then if I really am interested in knowing things about it, then I'll come back for a second viewing and I'll be like, okay, now I'm going to see, and I'm going to dissect it the way I want to dissect it. But the first time around, it's someone's piece of art. I want that shit to take me somewhere.
Right.
I want it to give me the feels.
And but okay, when you have that feel, when you're trying to take the person through that trip with you, you're already doing that in the writing process, right? Or does the visual help you take
the visual will help you, man. While you're writing, you visualizing. I'm pretty sure he visualizes everything when he's writing. He visualizing like whatever's going on, whatever the subject may be. I'm pretty sure he's like, all right, this is gonna go at this angle, looking at his face from this angle, and this and that when he says these things or these words. Of course, man. That goes to all of our heads, man.
There's a previs completely. There's a pre-visualization. Like I can tell you, I write and I'll still see it. But what I try to say is I try to block out as much as I can when I write, so that I can come back and look at it. The majority of the time, the way I've seen it in productions is a movie itself, or whatever production, it's made 3 times. It's first on the story that you write. The second time is in the filming, and the third time is in the edit. Those are the 3 times, and that movie flows. Like, that movie can start on the page one way, and it ends up edited completely different. And in the filming as well, because there's times where you're filming, you have it a certain way that you want to film it, but on the day something can happen, it can flip around, and you got to get creative, and you got to switch things around.
Like what?
So it's 3 different layers to build.
I'm gonna give you an example of that one. I'm recording this movie over there, a short film over there in New York in Monticello, called The Place of Monticello. And one of the characters, he had a bearded face, like no mustache, but beard on the side, looking rough, looking crazy with a psychotic face. And I'm like, bro, we did the scene. It should look crazy, bro. Blah blah blah. Next day, we're gonna shoot another scene, bro. I need you ready. Remember those clothes that you had? When he comes down, his face is cleaner than the baby's butt. I'm like, what the fuck did you just do, nigga?
I've seen that before.
I'm like, you fucking bozo. You're not supposed to cut your hair, nigga. You're supposed to leave that shit out, bro, the way it was. Yep. You have to trim it the way it was. You can't cut it. Bro, these people, I'm telling you, if you don't get with serious people, man, like, and you know what it is? I don't get actual actors. I get natural guys that I think, okay, this guy will fit this part because of his natural ability and natural weight. And I know if he look like a snake, all right, nigga, come here, bro. You want to sell papel de cucaracha, you know, you're going to be this nigga. If he looks like a drug dealer or he looks like some type of cop, all right, you fit this role, nigga. Come here, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, but that was one of the experiences I had with that, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I did mine. My last short was COVID. COVID was crazy, so we did. My last short was all inside of our home. It was completely closed in. It was between me and my girl, who also acts and does lighting. And we put it out in festivals, and we got a bunch of awards for it. But it was genuinely, it was us filming and figuring. Yeah, it was Popper. It was us filming that, and it was figuring out. I still haven't
seen the whole thing.
Yeah,
I've only seen the trailer.
It was just genuinely, it was all figure. I'll send you the link tonight. It was figuring out the first. It was really fun because the first 2 nights we filmed, genuinely fully accident wise, we figured out half of the lighting as we were, because we had it one way. And then we started visually, like Manuel says, once you put the cameras in certain places and they don't activate towards the story, you got to move that shit. And if you don't understand the composition and everything, it's hard. It's a hard thing to sell. You gotta find the feel for it right away.
Is Eddie, you still with us, Eddie? Eddie, you still there?
Say what? I couldn't hear that. Yeah.
Just to ask you a question. I know you've done movies outside, outdoors.
You break in front of the
how do you handle the lighting situation when you're outdoors?
When I'm shooting, well, since I've been directing. And actually, I've been the cameraman. I'm just learning trial by fire, learning how to work cameras and how lighting works. You know, I mean, I know from the acting perspective, but I've always been interested in all the technical stuff, things involved. And so the only way I figured out that I was going to learn was just to jump in and pick up a camera and start shooting and see what it looks like. And, you know, what I learned was that there are a lot, you know, most cameras are high def, but there's a big difference in cameras, you know, $2,500 cameras. You know, the picture looks different from $25,000. I thought high def was high def, and I learned that wasn't the case, and especially when I tried to shoot at night. And lighting
high def, I had to reshoot. If something is high def and that powerful, I imagine it'll pick up a lot more of the mistakes and things that are fucked up around, right? It won't, in a way, it's detrimental, isn't it?
With a $25,000 camera, I don't think you're gonna have no problems with the editing.
Yeah,
so you gotta have
right. See, that's what
okay. But for real, those cameras is ready.
So nowadays with the cameras that are out there, if you're at nighttime, you don't need extra lights. It'll still pick shit up.
No, not necessarily.
No,
yeah, it'll pick shit up.
Good camera.
Neil's like, oh hell no.
Good camera.
But you know what's the problem? That you're not gonna get that crunchy. You're not gonna get a crispy look, man, and it's not good for filming, for cinematic work. You know, you need that crispy look. So, you know, you always get, even if they expensive cameras, you always going to have like some big giant soft light cameras on the top of the roof looking down if it's a night scene and they just want that black lit and everything in the back looking dark and shit. So, you know, yeah, man. But
you gotta light. You definitely have to, like, the lighting is a key ingredient. You can't just put, I mean, there are amazing cameras out there, even like mirrorless cameras that you can put on there and crank up the ISO, which is basically just opening up a lens and everything. But the problem is what we call noise. You've got a bunch of noise coming in and it looks gritty. If you want that to be the look, then go right ahead.
What do you mean by
gritty?
noise
Like noisy? Like it's just like Manuel just said. It ain't crisp. It just doesn't have a clear view of your image. There's no clear view.
Unless you want to do that on purpose, I would suggest it.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? That's something I was gonna mention. Yeah. I've seen movies like Apocalipto. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like it has like 3-4 different fucking lenses in the trajectory of the movie.
Oh yeah, man. That movie was a nasty movie, bro. That's the creativity, the fucking storyline to the visuals. That movie's amazing. I'm pretty sure they use a whole lot of lenses for that fucking movie.
And I'm almost positive it's actually on film camera. It's an actual film camera shoot. So
it's no distance. So he's gonna go up there. He ain't gonna go with a regular Sony 6400 already.
Yeah. He's that type of movie is crazy. But like to what Eddie says, man, Eddie, if anything, get on, dude. One of the easiest ways I found out to learn, especially if you're doing your own productions. Fucking YouTube is amazing. It's especially if you're cranking up a camera. Yeah, you don't need. I mean, every camera has a different look. It's just a matter of rent them out. Rent out a bunch of cameras and shoot with them, and you'll find specifically what you want. But would you give that same advice to somebody who's just starting? Because I know eventually we're gonna have a couple of people who want to start doing videos and all of that. So. Would that advice fall also for beginners level, entry level?
Of course. YouTube tells you everything. As a matter of fact, you go to YouTube and you tell them, how to start your film production company or whatever, what are the necessary things, and they'll tell you everything. What's the most important things besides visuals? Sound. That sound with that microphone has to sound like it is. And it sounds screechy is over.
I won't do a production unless I have a sound person mixing. There's just no way. There's no way possible. I can't stand bad sound unless it's like something that's gonna happen in the film that you can tweak. Nah, there's no way. There's no reason for it.
I'm gonna tell you something. The first 2 films that I did, at least the first 2 or 3, it's been like that with regular sound, regular microphones. I just made a deal to place an order with a boom mic and everything in the Zoom microphone and package and all that shit to get everything right, man. But that's how I started. And the whole shit about that is that you really have to be in a quiet ass room to make that shit work. Because any wind that comes in, you fuck. And to edit that shit, it's crazy.
Easiest bet. Put yourself. If you're doing what Manuel's saying, I'm sure it's saying ADR. If you're gonna record something. Put some comforters around this closet, put yourself inside of it with a mic, get some clear, crisp audio, and just put it in later on. If that's the way you're going to go, do it that way. You're going to get way better audio than if you're trying to do it out in the street.
All right, I got a question coming from my boy John Wizzy. Juan Peyor. Okay, he's like, do you have to name the project before you start filming?
Nah, I've never done it.
That's the last thing I think on everybody's mind. You have a vision of everything, and once you're done with it and you look at it and absorb it and see it, then I pretty much, or during the movie filming it, you probably come up with a name and shit. With a few names and shit, actually. Like, what can I call it? This or that? Like,
yeah, it's completely your own opinion on like it's completely your own thing. Like I'm sure I'm hearing Eddie on saying the same thing. It's like it's completely whatever if you think of it at first and you want to put it on, put it on.
No.
But story wise, the thing is once you start writing a story, there's going to be so much things different, like changing as you're writing it, as you're doing a movie. Everything changes.
Yeah, the cast,
even
to the end. Crew will be happy to help with.
Yeah.
I have another question here for Eddie. Coming from Sandy, does that affect your performance as an actor? I guess she must mean as far as writing. Sandy, let us know if that's what it is. You know, being on the other side of the camera, does that affect you in front of the camera?
In front of the camera?
Yeah. See, what's important.
What do you mean as an actor? You're talking about as an actor?
Yes. I think that was for Eddie.
I think it's for Eddie.
Who was the question for? Yeah, who was the question for exactly?
For Eddie. Does being behind the camera affect you in front of the camera? Is he still there? I think we lost him for a second. We'll come back to him. I know as far as when it comes to music, it did affect me.
I don't know yet because the film that I just shot, I wanted to shoot.
Your audio's coming in and out. Neil, what do you think?
I wanted.
Oh no, Ed, there's Eddie. I can hear Eddie. Eddie, can you?
Eddie?
I thought Eddie was responding to that one.
Well, until we get Eddie back,
I didn't. Okay. I was going to be appearing in it as an actor as well. I wrote it. Yeah, as an actor.
Coming in and out.
Yeah.
Neil, you want to grab that one?
I mean, I've only acted in front of the camera twice. And one of them was my own project, and I sucked at it. so I could tell you straight up, for me there was a small effect. I mean, I was actually acting on the Spanish version of a commercial next to a friend of mine who's a professional actor doing the English part. And so, there's a little sense of at least at that point, there was a little sense of like almost competition or like, oh shit, I'm doing a shitty job as opposed to him doing a perfect job. So, I mean, I'm sure it translates. I'm sure it does have an effect. It just, I also know actors or directors that put themselves in their movie at all times, and they love that. So it could be different for everyone. I think that's a completely personal story for everybody if it affects it. I'm sure it does. There's got to be an effect. I just, for me personally, that's the way it affected me.
I mean, for me, it's interesting because I look at it as I've never done acting and film and stuff like that. We did a video once. But as far as in the music studio, in the music industry, being in front of the microphone and being the guy recording the music, it's two totally fucking different worlds, brother.
Yeah.
It's two worlds. And I can honestly say I prefer one more than the other. Mm-hmm. I prefer to be in front of the mic on the stage than behind, everything else. But you do learn, I don't want to say appreciation, because it sounds like you don't give a fuck about the guy inside the booth, you know what I mean, and behind the console. But you're more conscious of how it is you're gonna bring things across, how you're gonna display your skills and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I could only imagine it's the same thing when you're dealing with film.
I mean, it's I guess the only way, and I've got a friend of mine who's a comedian and actor, and the way he puts it is when he's on stage, it's a completely different feeling because you're receiving from the audience, you're taking in, you're feeling that in. When he's in front of a lens and he's translating to something, he says it's 10 times harder for him to transmit because he's not getting an emotional reaction back. So it's hard to. So it's definitely a very big change for him to actually give you his emotional status and everything, whatever you need on camera. He relies on the director to tell him exactly what to do. So there's definitely a big change when it comes to that.
All right.
There's something else.
Yeah. I got a couple of just basic questions to ask you guys. This is actually a good one. It's not that basic. All right. When you're working on a project, do you have to have love for it? Or are there moments where you have to look at it as a regular job?
Ooh, I give my this one.
Have a passion, bro. Have the passion.
Yeah.
Because you know what, man? You're never going to expect to get rich out of the first project. A lot of people do think like that. Oh, I'm going to get rich off this one, or I'm going to blow this one up. And no, it's not like that, man. Just keep working. You got to have a good track. A track, you know what I'm saying? Like good track, like good. A lot of shit, a lot of work accumulated, a lot of hours, and to gain that experience, bro, and then finally hit the shot. There's people who actually probably nail it, but in reality, man, there's people that probably have a big crew, and they'll probably work with elites or whatever, and different people that everybody plays their position. One person is the sound guy, one person only have to concentrate on writing, the only person have to concentrate on cameras, and that's it. One with everybody has a different job, but when there's one person, at least me, I write, I direct, I fucking record these people, I edit it at the end of the day. So I have to think about everything, bro. But there's a lot of people that they'll just have a crew.
All right, but big bro, doing all those things at the same time, doesn't it eventually like mix up and just become a big ajo con culo in your brain? Like,
nah, man, I work. I'm a complex dude, bro. I could be doing one thing, looking at the computer and looking at the TV at the same time, and estar pendiente a everything, and be editing something, and doing something. And I multitask, man, and I think too much, my nigga. And if I need somebody to hold the mic, well, of course, to do some sounds or hold some lighting or whatever. As far as that, yeah, I'll probably have somebody do that and all that, but. It's because I can't hold lights while I'm recording or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, man. But yeah, as far as that, man, I don't know, bro.
No, I do the same thing as Manuel. Like I do, my productions are the same way. I pretty much like my partner is my DP whenever we do our own very productions with our film production company. So it's kind of like I'll do the edit, I'll direct, I'll write it, I'll find the pitch and the sales, whoever it is, the client that's going to come in. I don't take a client that I don't like. I mean, it's just no reason for me to do a production that I just don't like or don't believe in, because it's not gonna come out right. It's not gonna be. You can tell when a production is done by somebody who really likes it and believes in it.
So going back to that question, you can't see it as a job, because the only difference between a job and a career, one you like doing, the other one you don't.
I mean, it's a job and it's a career, but I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it as it's feeding me, but that's the last thing in my head. The first thing in my head is I'm creating something. I'm creating a visual for someone, or I'm doing something, but at the end of the day, it's coming out of my head. So I'm literally looking at it as that way, because if I look at it as a job, the way and Manuel, I'm sure, and Eddie knows this, it's like when you're working with a client most of the time and you're doing it out of your head, that client wants something, what's in your head is another, and there's going to be a clash. And if you can't get along with somebody, or you can't do a production like that, then you're going to have there's no money in the world that can actually pay for the stress and the mental health.
You're fucking right. You absolutely right, my brother. That's why
the mental health is worse than everything.
Bro, that's why I don't do shit with nobody because of that, because my head is set a certain way, and then I got things already set up a certain way, and if there's gonna be this type of person that's gonna be, but how about this? Because I've had situations where you got people that got a different view on things. But let's do this, and they focus on some dumb shit that you like, yo, you fucking up my whole aura, my nigga.
But if they're getting you to direct something,
I'm here with Darth Vader
and you,
bro.
Right? They still trusting you. That's why they're coming to you to direct it.
Yeah, but they're still putting money in. So they're looking at it as, most of the time when you have a client, they're looking at it as like, I'm putting money towards this, and if I'm not seeing it the way that I want to see it in a way, and you promise, then they'll start pulling out. I've actually had projects that literally have been horrible at the end, and you can see it I can see it in the product. Everybody's like, oh, this looks great, this is fantastic, and I'm looking at it going, nah, you don't understand the shit.
You turn them blue.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you find that middle range? You know what I mean? Are there like key things that you look for in order to make things?
You get on productions. The thing is that there's no true set way. Most of the time, as artists, we believe in what we're going to do, and I don't know, Manuel might be in the same boat as me. We believe in our vision and what we're going to do, so we're completely in there. When a client comes in, at least for me, I'm completely in there. When I say yes, I'm going to take the job. I'm going to do my very, very best, and this is what I'm going to give you. But we're in a world where artists get taken advantage of at all times. At all times. And so they're going to be changing things. They're going to be adding things. They're going to be asking for things. And at one point or another, if you're not already accepting of the fact that this is going to happen, it's the very first productions are always hell because of that. But for anybody starting out, you're going to have to go through trenches at some point. You're going to have to go through some mental stress and you're gonna question. It's gonna question the fact if you really want to keep doing this or not.
Really?
If you it's there's times where people will. I mean, I genuinely did a film where the producers kept changing the script. And it was I had a friend who told me from the very beginning when I took the job, they're like, you're gonna get screwed on this because the executive producer was the actor and the writer of the story. And me as a director and an associate producer, I had no power. It was just they liked my vision, I went with it, but then halfway through, they genuinely wanted to fire me. They were gonna take the movie, they were gonna fire me.
Wow.
But the funny thing is that what they didn't think about at first is that I crewed up the whole thing myself. So I had people loyal to me, not to the production. So that saved me because as soon as all of them heard that, then they backed me instead of the production. So, but it's still stressful because everything is on your shoulders. That's one of the biggest things. Is when you take a production, whatever it is, how little it is, even if you're filming it yourself or if you have a crew, at the end of the day, it's on your shoulders. So you're gonna get hit with the mental health hard.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
Don't you guys like go through some type of interview with the client beforehand so you can see where he's at?
Bro, that's why you gotta have. I'm gonna tell you something. You gotta have a fucking contract nowadays, bro. A serious contract, and have these people be like, "Yo, nigga, like." Basically swear upon a Bible or something like motherfucker, don't fuck up because I can't have these problems. The guy that cut his hair that I told you in that film,
right?
I had to change the ending of that fucking movie like 3 times because of this bastard. I was like, cabrón, I can't do it no more. The last one he did was he left to Puerto Rico, nigga. And I was out there in New York and Monticello like, you cocksucker, you the one who's supposed to die in the end of the movie. Where the fuck you go? I have to go. I'm like, yo, you crazy, bro. You fucking up my whole shit. Next thing you know, I'm in Puerto Rico now. And what happened? One of the dudes that came out in the movie in New York came to Puerto Rico because I was supposed to chat his back. And I said, yo, bro, I need you to do this scene, bro, because you was in the film in New York. And this guy was there, but he's out here now. I want you to do a scene like you flew out here to kill this nigga. And nigga, I fucking nailed that scene. And that's how we ended it. But bro, I caught, like he said, the only déjame celebrar, you go crazy, you get depressed, you be pissed. You're like, bro, y'all only knew the time it takes to sit down and listen to all this fucking shit and to edit it, to make it look good and everything, y'all won't be so irresponsible. And I said, yo, you know, I'm gonna tell you something. I said,
No, I was gonna say. Then the funny part is when you know you're filming, and then you know you're editing afterwards, and you know the filming ain't coming out right, and you know you're just thinking of the stress you're gonna go with at the edit at the end too. That's even crazier.
I'm gonna tell you something. At least in the way everything was coming out, I was super happy. I couldn't complain, and that's what had me heated because these guys was good. There was naturals, but there was drug dealers and shit, and it fucked up my whole flow. And then at the end, it came to be that one guy didn't get along with the other after there was brothers. Then now they don't get along, and now I can't finish my shit. I'm like, yo, y'all niggas is fucking on my film. No, because one of the guys, I'm like, yo, this guy's supposed to kill you at the end. No, I don't want that nigga to kill me. Fuck that. I'm like, nigga, that's how it's written here. Nah, come on, man. And I'm like, yo, y'all niggas is fucking, yo, y'all incredible.
Speaking of writing, we got another question. It says, teacher question. As a language arts teacher, what could I do to help inspire my students to be creative in their writing?
I would say don't give them rules.
I would say don't give them video games.
No, actually, video games isn't a bad thing. Don't give them rules. Video games, in my opinion, are probably the best storytelling I've seen in 10 and 15 years. Like video games right now, there's a lot of video games out there that have one of the best storylines. Last of Us is one of the most amazing video games I've ever played. Like the storyline between those video games is stupidly good. I mean, they're making them movies for a reason. They'll probably fuck them up, but I would say for a creative writer, if somebody's doing creative writing, inspire them, like give them structure, but don't give them rules. I think that's one of the biggest things. I used to follow this guy, this PhD guy who we actually met when I was working on Avatar, and he has a YouTube, like a TED Talk, and he talks about how children as they grow and they go to school or get their creativity, they lose their creativity because of all the schooling and all the preparation for this career that they screw them up completely. And it's the truth. As you become an adult, you lose that confidence because kids have more confidence than we ever have as an adult because they don't have that whole thing.
Oh, you know what? I'm an MMA coach, and I teach MMA to kids everywhere from 3rd grade till about 8th and 9th, somewhere around there, and adults too. And but I've seen a lot of the push, a lot of the creativity, thinking outside the box with kids lost.
Yeah,
and you tell them, look, there's no rules, just be yourself. What do you mean?
But that comes.
They don't even know how to be themselves anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit! Hold on, what the hell? True, we grew up in the golden era of hip hop, where rule number 1 was motherfucker, be yourself.
Exactly.
That was the main rule. Be yourself.
Originality.
Yes.
Exactly. It has to be about being original.
Find that nowadays with these kids
because they're being pushed. I mean, between parents, between society, everybody's being pushed, and like you have to do it. You have to be this way. You have to do it. I mean, I grew up. And my upbringing was kind of like it was not about creativity. It wasn't about art. It was like I remember my grandfather and my mother and my stepfather is like, you want to be successful, you got to have a job, you got to have like the 9 to 5, you got to work for like long years, and that's your career. This is how your life's going to be. And I'd be looking at movies going, but I want to do that. And they're like, nah, you might want to take like a 2nd or 3rd option because that's not going to happen.
Let me ask you a quick question. When the hell did that come through? Because I went to high school with your ass, bro.
I know. I
had no fucking idea.
I know, because I always loved movies, but I was always being held like in a bubble. I was always inside of a box. Anytime you see me outside of school, I was in my own world. I was already creating. I was doing little things like that, but I never showed them. And then the funny thing is when I came back to Puerto Rico in my 30s, because my grandfather was sick, he had dementia, and he thought he was talking to his son, I think, on his deathbed. And he literally slapped me in the face, and he's like, I can see you're not doing what you really love. You need to go out there and actually do it. Woo! And that was my, that was
crazy.
That was
crazy.
I was like 32, I think, at the time. And that was genuinely like that. The slap in the face didn't hurt. It was what he said right behind it. So I immediately left his bed. And when I flew back to Florida, I immediately looked up film school, looked up everything that I could possibly find. And I went to Full Sail. I was engaged. I had a house at the time and everything. I left it all. I went and lived in my car in the parking lot of the university and just went to school. I was like, I'm done with it. I gotta do what I need to do, or I don't have the time. And that's genuinely, since I was 32, that's what I've been doing now. And I'll never look back, dude. It's so much fun. Fuck it. Yeah. And that I'm gonna say that without is for real, but it is so much fun.
Let me ask you all a question. What would be? I'm gonna step away for like 10 seconds, but until I come back, I want you guys to answer. What would be your dream project to work on? Oh shit! Yeah, your dream project. What would it be?
Shit, that's easy. I don't see that as a hard question.
What is it? Dream project.
I mean, I know mine. Manuel, you want to take it first, or you want me to go first?
Please don't tell me it's working with Meryl Streep. Fuck that.
No, man. I wouldn't know what to say, really, man. I don't think I have a specific one, man. I have a few things on mind, but you know, I have nothing concrete, man.
Mine's easy. Mine's my next one.
What's your next one?
My
Can
next
you say it?
Whatever. No, whatever. Well, actually, I do have a feature I'm writing right now, so it'll be my next one. My next one is going to be my dream. Like my dream, it's always feature. Like any other job, that's fine. But in film, like I do some commercials. I'm editing a video, like a web content for like an educational thing right now. And those are great.
Really?
Those pay the bills. Those for me pay the bills. Like I just finished a show on the East Coast that was like a food show. And then I did another show that was like a real estate show that I shot But that's not what I want to do.
Is there any one thing you prefer more than the other? Like, let's say narrative. I prefer videos more than film, or films more than commercials.
Film, like narrative film, like full narrative stories, like scripted films, feature films. That's what I want to continue to do. That's my whole bread and butter. Everything else that I'm doing on the side is just to get me to that point.
Okay.
So that's the way I do. I like music videos because you get a creative storyline to them. But I don't do music videos all the time.
Okay. Why?
Sometimes the client's a headache. Sometimes dealing with one artist is a pain in the ass. Sometimes it's you get pulled into a music video that's already.
I can understand the pain in the ass because I was that pain in the ass, bro. When we did the Tropical Storm video, I had okay, you ready for your part? I had the storyboard. Okay, the first scene from this verse to this verse is gonna be here. From this, I was exact with my shit. I drove for Manny.
But it's different. Now you got these corny niggas, bro. I understand what you're saying because I've recorded a couple of them myself. A couple of niggas that be talking about all this bread, and when you tell them to talk to them, they don't even got money to buy no clothes, man. At the moment, you're like, yo, nigga, you know, like. Oh, this song is about all this money. Oh, this song is about all this money. But where we balling at? In the block in the corner? Like, like nah, nigga, you know, it's the same shit.
All the money goes to that Lamborghini on the side, and that's your whole budget right there to rent out the Lamborghini for no reason. It's like, come on, man.
These niggas is corny, bro. I swear.
Can you guys figure out why, instead of putting like a storyline to it, something that people can remember?
Because all they want is flashiness. We're in that zone where it's like it's all about like right now, and that's instant gratification.
These guys are so dumb. They believe their own hype, man.
Yeah.
When they talk to me about a video, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, but let's go with some cinematic shit. Yeah, but we could do that. I'm like, oh shit, I already see it coming, man. Like, why should I even deliver, you know, some fucking good ideas to some people that they're not gonna appreciate it, bro, and they're not. And I'll be like, yo, but let's do this like this, let's do it like that. Yo, nigga, they so stuck, my nigga, that you be like, damn, bro, like, I don't know, it's disappointing, and I understand. ¿Cuánto va?
No, the best part is when you offer these creative ideas to somebody, and then you go, hey, so this creative idea, we can make it, and like I'll divide the budget. I'll be like, if you want this idea, then I'm gonna give you this is the amount of money that the video is going to look like. If you want this idea, if you want this other idea, then the budget goes up. And as soon as you show that to somebody, they look at you like, oh, but can't we do that shit for free? And it's like, oh, hold on, son, because that's
ain't you balling? Didn't I see you with 20 bottles on Instagram? Who bottles was that?
You got 25,000 followers on Instagram. You can't afford $5K for your own music video. Come on,
son, it's bad. It's bad, bro. It's bad. I was out there. I recorded a few artists from out there. And to tell you it's all hype, it's all hype.
It is.
One of the bad ones that I had, I was in a video shoot rapping with these dudes and shit in New York. And they were like, let's do a video. All right. So they stop on their way down. They stop in this mall. And they're like, yo, Pablo, we're going to get some jewelry. I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. I rock with what I got. You know what I'm saying? Believe me, I had that. Been there and done it. Go ahead. Do what y'all got to do. So they go in the mall, come out with all this jewelry. I looked at it, I was like, damn, I already know what these niggas doing the Chinatown shit, them fucking $50 giant Cuban links and shit. Like, damn, bro, like embarrassing shit. So guess what, man? They got embarrassed, bro. We was in the video shoot in New Jersey with them bad boys, bike riders, bro. That shit was lit. We was all doing our shit. So one of them started trying to rock with his chain. And he hit the Jesus piece, and Jesus piece head started flying in the air, flew somewhere in the crowd. Yo, I swear to God, when that happened, I saw that Jesus piece head flying in slow motion, bro. Like,
wow.
I was like, nah. And everybody, I could just see everybody face in slow motion looking at the Jesus piece.
That was the shot right there. Hold on, there it goes.
I was like, bro, man, you know what? I can't just rap with anybody no more, bro. Like I can't, bro. I can't do. I stopped all that, man. Like, I stopped because niggas portray themselves one way and they not. And it's sad that all these United States, not all of them, but the majority of them, a good 99-point-something% of them, is just built on bullshit.
So technically, they're actors.
bro, actors. Actors. I mean, like, I don't know, bro. It's some type of shit. Like they deserve everything, and they haven't done nothing.
Yeah,
it's like
that's the hard part.
They like, yo, have you ever been on the stage? No, son, yeah, this and that. And when you see them, they rapping over the song. They're not even rapping over the beat, and you're like, yo, what are you crazy?
Oh, have you ever tried telling them, it's like, hey, you got to rehearse because this shit, we're going to do it at a different frame rate and we're going to make this look like legit. It's like, we're going to give you the song so you can take it home. I had an artist.
Real quick, for those who don't know that are watching us, that will watch us, and for myself right now, explain frame rate.
So frame rate basically is
my brothers. My bad. I gotta cut it short because I got percussion classes and I gotta get on that. But thank you for having me, Joey. The rest of the fellas is a pleasure. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I hope we could do it again, man, one day.
Yes, sir. We will. Te veo pronto,
all right, man. Much blessings to all of y'all, man. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming, man.
So, yeah. So yeah, frame rate. I don't know what to tell you. It's basically how the camera sees things. So 2398 frame rate is normal. Like that's what we see with our eyes and everything. That's what the camera is like blur and stuff. So if you want to do like, I can give you an example, music videos that looks like everything is slow motion behind them, but they're singing and they're singing to the music. That means that we're filming the camera is filming at 48 frames, but when you see it in real life, they're actually singing really fast. So that the camera so when you edit it, the camera captures it in the regular frame rate. It's really interesting. It's a whole small little process. So
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So you actually have the person singing faster?
Yes. So I get the song. And just like the song is regular, right? I put it through a system, like any editing software, and you basically speed it up about 200%. And then you give that song back. If it's a good artist, like this artist that I had was really cool. I filmed his music video last year. It came out really nice. I gave it to him. It was a slow R&B song, but he wanted the effect of it looking like he's moving in slow motion. But when he's singing, it's singing to the regular music. So right. it syncs up. So in order for me to do that, I had to speed up the song by 200%, send it back to him, have him practice in front of a mirror singing at that speed so that I could then, when I filmed, we were going to film it with the music at 200%. So he would have to sing the whole video is him going really fast and doing the motions and everything like that. But when you bring it into the editing, and I bring in that everything that he's saying, speed it up. I bring it back down to regular speed. Then it syncs with the song, and it looks like all his emotions and everything are hyper slow, but his lips are singing at the right tune.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mary J. Blige did that in.
Oh, everybody in R&B and rap has done that. Since that was found, I don't know when it was that came out for the first time, but every music video, every artist has done it one time or the other. It's a pain in the ass. They don't do it all the time, but when they
doing that has to look really sick in an action flick.
Yeah, and
they hand to hand. That's got to look fucking insane.
Well, that's one of the things. Like, one of the cool things about shooting, like if you shoot 60 frames or if you shoot 120 frames. It's like slow-mo and then extra slow. And then if you go into like Zack Snyder world, then that's like 240 frames or above, which is, I don't understand it. I just don't get it. It's too much for me. In the Matrix, fine, I'll take it. But everything else is like, why? But it's really interesting to watch because then the thing is that you can shoot everything at 120 frames, but you can always bring it back to 2398. So you can speed it up, you can slow it down, you can go back and forth. And that's where you get the effects of a lot of music videos and movies where it ramps up and then it goes back down.
Wow. Okay. Do you have like any preference when you're recording anything?
Whatever.
I like this, or I like this angle specifically.
Whenever the story or whatever it is that I'm filming, I'll actually prep it. Most of the time, I've been pretty fortunate enough that most of the time I have time to prep at least a couple of days beforehand. There's only certain videos that I've done that are just like you get there and then you got to figure it out right there and then. And most of the time those are like I do. A friend of mine who's a sound guy. We have a page on YouTube called Field Jams, and he created it. My girlfriend and I basically film for him. And what he does is he takes a band live and he plugs in his sound system. He records it almost like a studio recording outside, but then we come in with our cameras and we film the shoot, and we film it. And we do a couple of little different angles here and there so that he can edit it later, but it's all whatever we capture in that performance. We don't do I think we do 2 performances or 3 performances of the band, depending on for how long we have them. And out of those 3 performances, whatever the song is that they really liked, whatever version they liked, that's the one that we start clipping to. And it's all the videos that we have at the moment. So we don't have time to go back and shoot anything else. It's whatever we can come up and think of at that moment, we'll film it, and that's it. So those are fun. Those are really fun, creative, because you know what?
I've heard 2 things, and I want to know if it's 50-50 or if one has more than the other. Improvisation and planning.
It depends on the production. It's always going to be so. You guys
are in a field where you're constantly just on the fucking fly.
In many cases, if you're on a reality show, God, yeah, it's horrible because there's only a little bit of planning, and then you just go out there and you film whatever you can film. If it's on a movie itself, it's on an actual movie that's worth its salt, then there's pre-planning. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes into it. But
what would you consider a movie that holds its salt? Oh yeah, bro. You know I'm putting you on the spot, bro.
Yeah, you trying to put me on hard.
For a while, and I love you, man. So I got to fuck with you.
I know you're just hammering it. I mean, I think again, and I've gotten so much shit from fellow filmmakers for this, but I don't care. I like almost every movie. There's just something about films, in my opinion. Every film has a good quality or something that you're gonna like or something that touches you in some way. So I always try to find perfect example. And this I don't know if the viewers might ring me up for this, but I wasn't a fan of Army of the Dead, which is the new Zack Snyder movie that just came out on Netflix. And I have friends that worked it. I have a bunch of friends of stunt guys that are part of the zombie squads and everything that shot or whatever. Really, really cool people. Completely love that they did it. I just wasn't a fan of the creative choices in it and the camera work so much, but I liked certain aspects of it. There was one key sequence that got me right away in the movie that I wish they would just make a movie out of just that one scene. It was there's a sequence where they're robbing the safe in this Vegas vault, and all of a sudden one of the characters telling the other characters oh, we probably are stuck in a time loop, and all these dead bodies here are really just all of us, and we're just continuing to die and keep coming back to do this. And the way they filmed it was they were showing visually the people that were dead wearing the same clothes as the people that we were already following. And something in there snapped, and I went, holy shit, this movie just got really good. But they never kept going with it. So I was like, But that's the thing is, to me, I find that in almost every movie. I mean, I can tell you my personal opinion of a movie that I love the story all the way through. I can tell you back in the old movies when I grew up, E.T. is one of those films that just E.T. and Goonies are 2 of the films that my childhood grew up with. Those were perfect films for me.
Hold on, let me explain to John. John has his mic kind of okay.
He has it muted.
John, can you hear us?
Yeah, I've been hearing you all this time. What's up?
Okay.
Hey, what's up, John?
E.T. and Goonies are classic movies.
Okay. First of all, yeah, no, it was not before I was born. Kiss my ass.
I knew Joey was gonna throw some shit out.
Yo no sé qué piensa yo. I'm younger than you, but fucking 10 years, not even that much. Kiss my ass.
Okay, SpongeBob. Anyway.
Bro, we saw Goonies together. What are you talking about?
I see. There you go. So, but did you see it in the theater or did you see it in the video?
No.
That's the question that really lies in.
I mean, I was gonna see it in the theater, you know what I'm saying, but I had to play some Super Nintendo and watch some Power Rangers that day.
You weren't even swimming in your daddy's nutsack by then, dude.
He's calling out Super Nintendo. That's not the right console for the time. No, I'm just gonna go there.
Okay, fine. It may have been before my time, but when it was a pop culture sensation, I was already like, I was up and about. You know what I'm saying? So
it transcends generation.
I am gonna admit, I've always been waiting for part 2 of the Goonies.
It's coming. It's coming.
I hope they keep it dark. I hope they keep it dark because we're grown. They're gonna keep that shit.
Well, it'll be the only way they can do it is with the parents, like the children's the parents are the originals, and then the children are the ones that are Goonies. That's the only way they can keep it.
I mean, if they could kind of,
I want to see them going after the ship now that they're old.
They can kind of pull a Cobra Kai kind of sort of, you know what I'm saying? Depending who's alive and who's not, and who's willing to do it or whatever.
Cobra Kai out here is single episode awesome. Of the 3rd season. I am salivating for that one.
Oh, the teaser came out for the 4th season right now, I think.
Oh shit!
The teaser came out today for the 4th season. So they filmed it down the road from where I live. They filmed some of the shots or whatever because it's all in the valley here.
Really?
Yeah, so they film like I think I saw, I don't know what, because they film a lot of stuff in Atlanta because it's cheap, and then they come out here. Yeah, that's the thing is that's a major secret of every film. So most of the time they go down to Atlanta, all the studios and the tax incentive that they get back like a 30 or 35% back on the total of the movie already as soon as they get there.
Wait, hold on. Reverse engineer that whole thing as if I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
So the way it goes is if say a movie has, I'm going to do it really low budget. So say for instance I'm going to make a movie. I've got $500,000 for a budget, right? So me personally, which I already have a script of a movie that you would like, I can tell you later, but it would be filmed in Puerto Rico. And I know for a fact that Puerto Rico's tax incentive is massive. It's like up to almost 60% now, which is beautiful. So I can go in with that and go to the film commission there and say, I'm going to spend a budget of $500,000. And then the commission will say, well, these are the stipulations for us letting you film here. You've got to say hire local crew. You've got to do local purchases only or something like that. And then we'll give you
because they want to make sure some type of income goes to where you're at.
Yeah, the influx needs to be where you're at. So then what they do is that so with that said, you agree, whatever, sign a contract and everything like that. And that means that you're going to get 60% back of your $500,000. So if I have an investor who's put up the $500,000, he's already going to get 60% of it back for sure. So that's already.
Oh, he only invested like $240, really.
Pretty much. So when you have a big budget films, like for instance, Marvel films, which were in Atlanta until, I don't know, the last one, I can't remember. I mean, Endgames, I think, has been the last big Marvel production in Atlanta. Oh, no, Spider-Man. Sorry. Spider-Man finished in Atlanta. But now they've moved to Sydney. Now they're in Sydney, Australia for 5 years now. So everything from Thor, Doctor Strange, the Shang-Chi movie or whatever, all of that has been filmed in Australia to a certain degree because of it's also because of the COVID restrictions, because they were open quicker over there than they were here because they got it under control better than we did. Yeah, so in other words, so basically now, if you go to Atlanta and you take $500,000, you get I believe you get about 30. No, it's a 25% tax break, which means you get 25% back. Then if you put the Georgia sign at the end of your credits, you get another 5%. It's like the easiest 5% to get. Like so that's when you think about it. All these big movies are getting 20 to 30% back when they go to locations to film. So the majority of it is, and then you got to have the infrastructure. So the only thing that kills Puerto Rico right now, in my opinion, is that there's no major studio, which I think J-Lo and somebody else were trying to build, but never got around to it. If you had a big studio, like Atlanta has Pinewood Studios, which is in London as well. It's one of the biggest studios out there, and they just sold it. They just sold it to somebody. And then Atlanta also has Tyler Perry Studios, which is one of the second biggest studios in Atlanta right now. So they have infrastructure to take in movie after movie after movie. One of these sound stages can basically, you can build a couple of different scenes in there and then re-tear it down and rebuild and stuff like that. So you're putting money towards
these studios are bought and sold like commodities.
No, they're owned. They're like Pinewood. Pinewood just got really big, and they just, because I think they saw something with the economy. The problem with Atlanta right now is the political structure. It's a right to work state, which is not really loving unions, which I know. I'm a union operator, so I know a lot about it. But then it's a right to work state, and then it's very Republican controlled in the government. So a lot of the policies that get put in place are not conducive to what a lot of the state or the producers and all these companies that come from LA go down there. So there's always a constant little battle. So, and at the end of the day, Georgia it's a great hub. It's a fantastic hub, but it's like Florida was, and it's like everything. Florida used to be one of the biggest meccas of the East to film. 100%. Like, I was in Florida when they were still having the incentives. Once they took that away, everybody left.
Really?
Like, everybody just, it's almost like, because filmmakers are gypsies. We genuinely go where it's going to be productions at work. So we move with whatever it is. So for instance, I moved to Atlanta for 7 or 8 months. I love this. I like the city. I was working constantly. My partner just wasn't doing that great. And it wasn't what she wanted to live in. I didn't exactly want to stay there either, because my goal was always to come to LA and make my own productions. I'm always thinking like, fuck this big fish in a small pond. No, I want to do the big fish in the big pond. It's like in the fucking ocean. There's no point. It's like, if I'm going to put my name out there, I'm going to put it out there for real.
Of course.
So that was my take. Plus the fact that, I don't know about you, but it's not just working and filming. It's like, you gotta like where you live. And when I moved to LA and I could drive to the beach and surf and then go to the mountains and ski at the same day, I can't. I know it's expensive and the traffic's a bitch, because damn, the traffic's a bitch here. But everything, there's so much shit happening. The studios are here. Like, every corner you drive, there's like a photo shoot happening or something on the road. It's like it's just, there's a vibe to it.
Well, I asked about the buying and selling as commodities because I'm always, my nickname is Cacique. I'm always looking for the best for the Caribbean.
Of course.
Know what I mean? I'm a firm believer of the future of the world lies in the Caribbean, one way or another. And yes, I would love to see an industry like that be born in Puerto Rico, but I would like to make sure it stays. There's a big influx
of work in Puerto Rico. I know two really good like coworker friends that I did this musical. It's a full musical. It's called Calle La Resistencia, it's being shopped around right now. We filmed it. It's a full feature. We filmed it in like 3 or 4 days. Like, it was inside these little box theaters, which was really cool. And it was 3 cameras, and my friend Javi and his wife Susie, who are from Puerto Rico. They're actually in Puerto Rico right now. They live out here. They're bi-coastal pretty much. They live down there, and they know a lot of people. And she and I have been talking about, because she liked the story that I'm starting to just writing, that I want to film in Puerto Rico. And she's always like, "Oh yeah, you got to get it done. I can crew it up."
That's what you're gonna tell me about later.
Yeah, so he's like, "I crew it up in Puerto." Well, it's easy. It's 4 friends that meet up again in their like late 30s or whatever, and they go on. They meet up in Puerto Rico again. The 4th friend is still in Puerto Rico. He's about to die of cancer, but he hasn't told them yet. And so they go out on a like a weekend, like basically they're going to go chinchorreando for the whole weekend around the whole island. So it's kind of a recap of their skip day in Puerto Rico on the high school when we actually went around the coast and chinchorreo and all that shit. So and I've never seen a movie that way. So it's like it's something that comes out of my youth. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to write it. So
comedy, drama.
Oh, it's all of them. It's comedy and drama. I actually, it's funny because I wrote the first, just the first idea and everything. I sat down, my friend Wilo. I was in Puerto Rico with Wilo and Victor, and we were having a beer. They took me out at like 11 o'clock at night. Said, we're going to take you to a bar. And this is going to be the funniest thing because you'll never believe where the bar is. And it was in San Antonio. It's a bar right next to a fucking Presbyterian church.
Look, Sandy says, fuga.
I know, exactly. Exactly what Sandy says. La fuga siempre. So the story is about these four guys.
Wait, hold on. Which one in San Antonio did you go to?
It's so antes de la Hewlett. When you drive up antes de la Hewlett, you take in the first entrance. I can't remember the street on top of my head, but it's literally it's a church and there's a little fucking bar right next to it that doesn't look like a bar, but it's literally you walk in and Wheeler looks at me and goes, look at the building right next to you at 11 o'clock at night and it's a freaking church. I was like, I've never seen a bar next to a church, so that's already in my story. So that's one of those chinchorreos that you don't know.
That's San Antonio.
Mm-hmm, exactly. I mean, you go right out of the church and go right to the bar. But that's genuine, man. That's genuine island life.
I wonder if that church gives out fucking night train or vino perico for the.
En las Navidades vino perico.
For those of you who don't know what vino perico is, all my New York City guys, it's the closest thing to night train. This shit is crack juice. Don't ever put this in your system.
How's that compare with Vampiritos?
No, Vampirito is a classic from high school. Let's not give that away. Vampirito is the recipe for all high schoolers. I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
especially if you sit in front of a gas station when you're playing dominoes and you got no money and all you got is a little bottle of Welch and you gotta fucking get that Bacardi. Come on.
Yeah. I find it hilarious. It brings back good memories from high school, before the legal drinking age. Sure.
No. Hold on. Go ahead. Finish.
Legal
drinking age in Puerto Rico is, can you pay for it yourself? You can fucking drink it.
That's legal drinking age. That's legal drinking age because you know what money is by that point.
Yep. I got you. Yeah. It's kind of similar in the Dominican Republic. I don't know if we have a low drinking age or it's just not enforced and no one gives a shit. I think it's the latter, but I can get back to you about that.
Oh, they give a shit. The store owner's like, can you pay for it? Then give me the shit.
Sure. Yeah.
Don't worry, one of these days we're gonna put you on to Chichaito on top of that. That's
Should I write
fucking my language?
Should I write this down? Am I supposed to be taking notes?
Poquito de pitorro, Chichaito. You'll be a man.
Chichaito. All right.
Chichaito pitorro. That'll make you a man.
Oh my God! That'll put hair on your chest, boy. They put it all on my chest and took it off my head.
Oh my God, that is
guys. Don't leave the studio. We're going to end the broadcast right here. I hope everybody enjoyed. I'm going to give a quick plug. Next week, June 3rd, we have that dude right there, John Matos. John, plug your shit, man.
Yeah, no doubt. We're going to talk about art, motherfuckers. And I promise it's not going to be on some stupid, boring shit. I'm not your art professor. I'm not your museum's 80-year-old curator. I'm not the dean of your art department. You know what I'm saying? I got my formal education, but I keep shit entertaining. Come through. It's going to be great. You might learn something. Holla at your boy.
It's always entertaining learning about art from somebody who's fucking colorblind.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
That's okay. There's a lot of famous filmmakers that are colorblind too, and they for some reason make them colorful. So it is a definite.
So it's going to be interesting. Everybody who's watching us, thank you for tuning in. Guys, like I said, don't hang up. We're going to talk in the studio. I'm just going to end the broadcast. Jibaros, stay up always. This is Shoot the Shit with Joey Zaza. We had Eddie Velez. We had Manuel Giraud. We got John Matos. We got Neil Watson. God damn it. We got everything and the fucking kitchen sink. Torre del Viejo, baby.